I think we're done putting ourselves over. No, Scooter?
I'd say so.
Oh, before I do stop putting ourselves over, most of July is already in the books. We have on the 2nd Congo Con, on the 3rd Clara Carter, um, on the 9th Ash Silva, on um, on the 10th Solomon Stride, on the 16th Savannah Stone, on the 17th Madness, on the 23rd Vegan Thunderbolt, on the 24th we have Guillermo, and on the 31st we have Zombie Dragon. Alright, now we're done putting ourselves over. Um, that being said, it is indeed a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And I don't think, well, obviously we'll get into everything Clash at the Castle at in our next segment, but I don't think there was more to talk about than the Wyatt Sick debuting on Monday. Definitely a very all-inspiring, somewhat melancholy debut. Um, Scooter, what were your thoughts on the Wyatt Six or Sick?
It's SICK6, so they're doing the whole weird thing. If there's anything wrong with this, it's that. That's all I'm going to say. But
You love your grandma.
it was surreal.
Oh yeah.
And it is, times have changed in pro wrestling when they finally approach the topic of death, and they turn it into a story or a gimmick, which hasn't happened since Benoit and Mr. McMahon blowing up.
I mean Paul Bearer with the on.
No, I mean that wasn't that. No, that wasn't. Plus, he would come back too. But the fact that there were people blown away, and I don't mean like impressed. I mean literally with bullet holes in their heads. Like Chad Gable. I'm like, well, if Gable didn't resign, you got a great way to write him out.
He actually did resign.
I know. I mean, it could have been Ricochet too.
If he only waited a week.
But it's like you had literally everybody down. You had everybody from Braun Strowman to and to Triple H. They were all down there. You just have to take a look.
Right.
Oh shit. Uh-oh. This just in. Hikuleo on SmackDown.
Alright. Is he Tolly Tonga?
I have no idea. But to see Nikki crawling out as Sister Abigail, to see Eric Rowan as Ramblin' Rabbit, to see Dexter Lumis as Mercy, as the Buzzard, Joe Hendry as Joe
Gacy. Joe Henry
JC.
was on
I know.
NXT.
Yeah, I know. And oh my God, he's right behind me, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Oh God, let me guess. He's right in front of me.
I believe in Joe Henry. We'll get to that in a bit as well.
And what did I always say about if they were ever going to do something like this? What should the mask look like?
Bray?
A combination of Howdy and the Fiend. That's what we got. I love the fact that this is how dark Bray wanted to get with his character. And oh shit, never mind. No, I don't. It's Jacob Fatu, not Hikuleo. That being said, the fact that Bray not being here and sets his creations free, and it gives them a whole new purpose in everything, and a whole new way to redefine them, and it's absolutely, oh man, that was just so awesome to see. And the big thing going around today is at least the biggest trend right now is analog horror. And that's how they were promoting. That's what they were doing with the messages and the codes and the VHS filters and whatnot. That's how you correctly tap into a trend.
Right. Alright, Kaliko, your thoughts on the Wyatt Sick? Or Sick? It's going to take me a minute to get that down.
Well, it could have been worse. It could have been 6 the way that X-Pac spelled it, so hey.
Oh, very good.
Okay. So it could be worse. But this was it. I wanted to jump on something that Scooter said. It was like they allowed the creation to be free, right? And that just goes to show like all the back tape that Bray had to deal with, because a lot of people were getting frustrated with the Fiend, you know what I mean? And it just goes to show like it wasn't due to his lack of creativity. It was just due to the fact that, I mean, let's keep it a buck. It almost seemed like if it wasn't a Vince idea, it wasn't gonna go down, right? Especially in an era where like we saw like, what was it? Prime example, Zack Ryder with the YouTube show. It got over, and it got over without using the WWE interface. Does that make?
Yeah.
And not owning those ideas. So it was, honestly, I think that was a really big deal with the intro. The fact that the lantern was there, all of them congregating together to the lamp at the end, which was very ominous. I had someone text me, is Chad Gable dead? So it was real enough and it was big enough that somebody actually, questioned the mortality of a wrestler. So it reached the intended audience, is what I'm trying to say. It got the buzz that it was supposed to be. Now the question is, where do they go from here? And please don't fuck it up. I think Triple H will treat this as his baby. And I think he's going to be way more involved in it than anything to make sure it goes within the ideas of how Bray was going to go. And I hope that they have a notebook with all these ideas, so that way it can show a notebook of his ideas, so that can come to fruition to show the like genius that he was behind the stage.
You know, I like the first time they showed Howdy when on in that segment, he looked so much like Bray, and he was acting so much like Bray, like legitimate like goosebumps, if I'm being honest. And like you said, where do you go from here? And it does seem, from what if you believe in the rumor and innuendos, as we all like to say, they have big plans for the Wyatt Sick. You know, on both, not just on Raw, but on SmackDown as well. They feel like it can go the right way. The biggest problem with Bray Wyatt was it was always the story, but the story never translated to an actual match. The match wouldn't necessarily leave you satisfied. So I feel like now that it's Bo Dallas, and there is some it's not all just Bray Wyatt's idea. It is being filtered through Bo and Triple H. These stories that they do come up with, I feel like they're going to translate well to an actual blow-off match rather than what Bray was doing when he was this character. You understand?
Yeah. I think that honestly the best thing that they could do, aside from clearly have them wrestle more than the Fiend did, but have them as a stable, but you still kind of keep them apart, where where they each have their own individual feud, and they screw with their own opponent and whatnot, and then eventually, and then you bring them back together. There are lots of ways this could play out. I see one way of it failing, and that's if Alexa Bliss gets involved.
Why would you say that would make it fail?
Because it would, with our luck, Alexa Bliss would try, in terms of storyline, would try to undo it and set them free. Because as far as we are concerned, they're demons. They are demons. They are demon forms of the Firefly Funhouse.
I mean, true, but even when the Undertaker got in the ring, he bled. It does. You do have to bring it back to a little bit of reality to some point. It can't be all deities and demons.
Well, if they don't start Raw on Monday with somebody waking up, I think people are going to be very, very confused.
Did anybody else notice that the only person that walked through the door was Nikki, but the rest of them didn't go through the door? They came out from the side of the door?
Yep.
I feel like,
Yeah.
it was maybe too noticeable not to be a coincidence, no?
I think it puts emphasis on the fact that Nikki is Sister Abigail, and while Howdy might be the de facto leader, it's
Clear that she's the ringleader.
Yeah. I mean, it was always inferred that Sister Abigail was more powerful
Right.
than Bray, than the Fiend. So, yeah, and it makes sense that, that it's her. I mean, she's had the crazy gimmicks.
Right.
The question remains is, are they also going to let them be who they are underneath the mask?
That's a good question. I feel like Dexter Lumis wasn't on WWE TV enough for people to maybe remember or care at this point. And Joe Casey's a brand new character on WWE TV, so, there's nothing you really have to do there.
Yeah, but how do you wrestle in those masks?
Yeah, I don't think they're wrestling in those masses. Unless they alter them to make them more a smaller version in order for
form fitting.
Yeah, form fitting, yes. But I mean, you could have Eric Rowan take off the mask, and people are going to know who he is, and he's more associated with Bray Wyatt than even Bo is at this point. People know who he is.
Just please, no more, spiders in boxes.
I mean, it's better than little people. What was I getting at? Oh yeah. If I'm just being honest, I'm happy that they're giving Bo Dallas this spotlight. And it's unfortunate to say, but I feel like maybe Bray walked so Bo can run. I wish that it didn't have to end the way that it did for that to happen. But I do feel like this has the makings of being the next Undertaker in all sense of the word.
True. It just made sense that Bo would be the person to take the flag, because keep in mind, we did have a death and someone continued a legacy, and it wasn't a family member and like Eddie Guerrero. It would have naturally been Chavo, but it ended up going to Mysterio.
Right, but that's a whole other conversation for another time.
That's a whole other can of worms. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's nice that it goes to the family of, not saying that Mysterio wasn't considered family, but I always think when it comes to these things of legacy, it's cool. It's nice for friends to do it, but it means more if the family is carrying that legacy.
Right.
Plus, it says something about what they are thought of as a talent by by booking, by being given this opportunity. How many times did we expect Bo Dallas to be on the release list?
I mean, at the time, he wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah, he wasn't. That's the thing. It's funny because I think aside from Nikki, each one of them has been released and retired.
Yeah, Dexter was fired. Joe Gacy wasn't fired.
JC? JC was the only one. But he was hella in the background. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
but he was still also actively competing on NXT too, while the whole thing was going on.
Gacy wasn't fired. He wasn't wrestling for NXT
No.
when he was fired.
No. I don't think Gacy was actually released.
No, I don't think so. I think you're confused with the big guy that was with Gacy at the time. Scarlett Parker Bordeaux, Renee.
Parker Boudreaux.
Yeah.
Bordeaux.
Oh yeah, Bordeaux.
I'm more of a Cabernet man. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. Already over 25 million views on all social media, so literally everybody was talking about it. People was also talking about this on Raw as well. The return of Seth Rollins. Which, if I'm being honest, came out of nowhere. I didn't see, on any news forums that Seth was scheduled to come back. And the last thing I heard about him was that he had knee surgery and he was recovering at home. So, what happened in the last 60 days that Seth Rollins has come back to WWE? Kaliko, do you have a thought?
Honestly, that was out of nowhere. Either he heals like Wolverine or that injury wasn't as big of a deal. Because him popping out of nowhere and jumping himself in the Money in the Bank match was crazy. Now, the only problem, I only got one problem with it. And I know why they didn't do it, but it still kind of bothers me. So you telling me this dude pops back up and doesn't get his rematch?
I mean, Seth is getting his rematch.
No, he put himself in the Money in the Bank.
No, it's Priest and Rollins for the title.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I was about to say, bro, because the way they made it sound, the way he was talking, it made it seem like he was going, Money in the Bank. But this makes this Punk, Seth, Priest, McIntyre square even crazy. I'm just telling you, because you could easily see a Punk Rollins at SummerSlam now. You could easily see a Punk McIntyre. You could easily see, so it just gives so many dance partners. And he came, honestly, at the right time. Because at this point, Damian needs that guy to kind of wrangle with. Because eventually, Seth and Punk, but McIntyre and Punk, they're going to have to figure that out. And eventually, Punk and Rollins are going to get back into it. So it gives Damian a formidable foe to where you can actually legitimately see him lose the title.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, not saying that McIntyre wasn't that guy, but it's more targets on his back, and now the stories are infinite at this point, like a fucking Marvel universe.
Do you think this is him wanting to come back, or do you think this is maybe WWE calling him back because they might not have somebody to fill a position for Priest to wrestle?
No, I think honestly, well, now that you think it that way, it could be both. But when you think of Rollins' legacy, I mean, if he's not dying, he's in the ring.
Very true.
So it very well fits within who he is as a professional wrestler. to be the type of person that would come back early as shit.
Well, I completely understand his mentality, but, is it the wisest decision to come back even though you're clear, doesn't mean you're 100% healthy. You know what I mean?
True, but I think, well, if that was the case, they would have had to strip the title for him and he wouldn't have wrestled back-to-back nights.
I mean, true. Really?
Like, if it was that serious.
I mean, I feel like we'll kind of get a clear picture of what's kind of going on with Seth Rollins after Money in the Bank. I feel like he could have maybe popped off after Money in the Bank because, like you said, Seth wants to be at every big show. And, SummerSlam is the second biggest show. So, he could have maybe planned something after Money in the Bank leading into SummerSlam, but again, I worry for his health that maybe he's pushing himself more than he should.
The only way I see this is going is if it's a fatal four-way at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's very convoluted at this point. Scooter, your thoughts on it?
Well, it's after SmackDown last night and after Raw. It's kind of clear they're going with a very different Money in the Bank match in terms of participants. As you've got Jey Uso, as of last night, you've got Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. And on the women's, you have Chelsea Green. And all those matches involved, one of the top stars. Carmelo's match involved Randy Orton, and Andrade's match involved Kevin Owens. And next week, you have LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Santos Escobar, which, if it's
it has to be Escobar.
Yeah, I mean, if they're clearly trying to go with Logan and Knight for the U.S. title.
Yes. Well,
I mean, it's going to be like a full of first timers.
We were talking about Seth Rollins coming back prematurely.
So, and going back to what you were saying about, did they not have anyone for Priest to face? And it kind of seems like they're putting Priest more in with Dom's story than his own. See, I know at least one thing they could have done where it didn't have to involve Seth Rollins that they could have done at Money in the Bank. They could have done a Bad Bunny Damien Priest too.
I mean, he does hold a victory over Damien.
That would have been interesting. I think, though, They could have done it. It's just a matter of how do you re-inject that into it, right?
I mean, the rivalry is built in. He beat him in Puerto Rico.
It's built in. It's just more like how do you pull Bad Bunny into that fray? Because at this point, it seems like it's more of a Damien Judgment Day trying to keep shit together while the glue is gone.
See, the right thing to do. Well, no, because the right thing to do involves somebody winning the Money in the Bank, and cashing it in on Priest, and of course I'm talking about Finn Balor.
Yes, you're the great minds think alike. I literally said that.
Yeah, this is gonna turn out to be some sort of like, it's gonna be another coup. It's gonna be another Judgment Day coup. Rhea will turn face.
Rhea's already a face.
I know.
She's literally the only one getting killed.
But if they won't turn Dominic, though, they won't attempt to, because it'll turn out that Dominic and Liv were actually working together the whole time.
Right.
Could they have done a, why not? They could have done Priest and Truth.
That would have been interesting.
I mean, but
that would have been, but
would you have expected?
But the story ended at Mania. That story ended at Mania, though. But I get it.
It's just a lot. A lot it can. There's so many ways for this to go, and it just. Priest's reign so far hasn't, been noteworthy. So maybe that essentially is why Seth was brought back. He needs a real title defense victory. Against somebody like Seth, and needs it clean.
Well, speaking of,
I don't think it's going to be clean, but I mean, and to Scooter's point, you can say Truth, but the thing is this: I've never seen Priest is in a situation to where he's a beatable champion, but yet there's nobody on that roster that you would believe is beatable to him. Right?
Wow.
On the Raw roster, right?
That is a paradox, to say the least.
It is. Well, the reason I say that is because the heavy hitters he already kind of went through. He already went through McIntyre and Uso, which were the two biggest names on Raw at this moment. So he kind of needs a Seth because Punk ain't coming back anytime soon, and Punk is gonna be a little bit busy with. Well, he's coming back, but he's gonna be busy with Drew because Drew is on that ass.
Yes.
Like Kendrick on Drake. But
last night, Drew McIntyre pretty much basically almost murdered CM Punk.
Close to a Chad Gable murdering.
Yeah, they're getting real good with that fake blood.
Oh yeah, they're getting good. So I mean, that's my point. So that shows you where it is. So it's one of those things where it's like he's a champion with no legit challengers to play with, and and this is where I was having it. It has to come from within.
See,
Unlike Roman, where Roman was so dominant, this one has to come from within, which is Finn.
wait, but
I mean, it could be a swerve and it's DJ.
KD, you mean?
Katie.
JD, DJ, who the fuck else?
See,
The Funko guy.
I was thinking about who, the structure of the Money in the Bank match and who's in it. And the last time they kind of had, a match that didn't exactly have, wasn't full of all-stars. And what happened was Brock Lesnar entered the match towards the end and just climbs up and takes the case.
That was
If they-
2019?
Yeah, something like that with the Brock party.
Yeah.
If they're bringing Seth back, I would not be surprised if they pull the cord on Roman doing what Brock did.
Ooh.
Because as of now, Roman is a face.
But Roman...
The crowd was chanting, "We want Roman."
Just because the crowd wants Roman doesn't mean when he comes back that he's not just going to hug Solo and start beating on Cody Rhodes. That being said, I don't think that's going to happen, but he's very much firmly planted in SmackDown. He's kind of rooted. So doing anything with Seth kind of feels like it's not as big of a beef, even though, there's all that history there. Does that make sense?
I mean, unless they're gonna, unless I'm finally getting loose in a WWE ring.
Maybe a NXT ring.
But it's.
Yeah, you get Moose and Trick before you get Moose.
I mean, you can. Shit, you know what? I just realized something. SummerSlam's in Cleveland.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Who's from Cleveland? Logan Paul.
Yeah.
No, you bet not. No. I mean, Paul just challenged for the title. I don't see it. I don't see that. I mean, he's going to switch and go to, unless, the only way that would happen is if he loses the title and then has the briefcase, loses the title at SummerSlam, wins the title that same night.
Don't forget Gunther.
Very true.
But Gunther's getting, that's right. Gunther's going to fight. He's fighting him at SummerSlam.
Yes,
It's Gunther
and SummerSlam is 2 nights now. No, that's in 2026.
No, it's one night. Yeah, next year.
Okay. We are going very down this rabbit hole, so I'm going to pull us out and talk about our next piece of news. And that being, Joe Henry made his triumphant, debut on NXT TV. They said his name, he did appear. Do you believe in Joe Henry?
Is that an open question? Because, I mean, we were having this conversation off air. That just tells me a lot of people ninja watch TNA more than they like to admit. Because that makes no sense that guy got that many views as his debut. Now,
7 million views. Only second to the Wyatt Six.
One of the most liked clips in WrestleMania.
Very true. I mean, when Joe Henry's contract comes up, are you thinking you want to put money down on this guy?
No. I mean, Joe Hendry was surprised at the reaction he got, that it was so big, and that the fans were pissed when, essentially Kaz threw him out. And yes, Kazarian, who's finally taking a break from trying to kill me, being back on as well, and being in the final four of that battle royal. I mean, that was. I kind of expected it to be Sean Spears, Lexus King, and Ethan Page. But Ethan Page, of course, didn't get in. That's what I thought was going to happen. Ethan Page was going to come back in and dump Javon, the Flyy guy. Which for some reason they're pushing him to the friggin' moon for stuff. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Eric Young. Eric Young is quite pleased with how this working relationship is working out. There's another relationship to talk about, with Noah, but
we'll get into that in a bit.
Yes, and
Joe. I think Joe Henry on NXT. Honestly, Joe Henry's always got a pop, except in England. They can't stand his guts still. And I'm happy for him that he's got maybe a little bit of shine on him from WWE. And like you said, Kazarian was in that same match. To see Kazarian kind of sort of get his flowers in a way,
and to hear Vic Joseph use the term "give his flowers."
Did he?
Yep.
Oh God.
Because when I immediately thought of you, James.
I'm super happy to see Kazarian getting his flowers on NXT, getting that notoriety at least once. All in all, a good moment for everybody. Kaliko, anything you wanted to add?
I mean, that was bananas. You know the funny thing I noticed because I kept watching it over and I don't know why I was watching it over and over, but when you see his face, right, he was literally trying to hold back like that euphoric feeling, right? Because especially as a guy like that who doesn't even think, you know what I mean? Like, think if you've been in like people don't notice you and then you realize they really know who you are. It's just like, it's like a feeling unlike anything else on earth, man. So congrats to him. Now let's see what they do with it. So it's kind of like Bo Dallas. It's like the new Bo Dallas. It's the new Bo Dallas. It's funny that Bo Dallas went to be this goth guy, and now his gimmick is being taken by Joe Hendry. It's just weird. So it's a good time to be in wrestling right now. It's a good time.
That being said, after his loss to Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles was announced for another match. That match in Japan for Pro Wrestling Noah against wrestling legend Marufuji. Damn. You know, AEW wants to say, oh, we give you dream matches, the Forbidden Door, this person's going to be on here, this person's going to be there. I feel like WWE is at the point of, okay, well, hold my beer. They really give you Forbidden Door matches out of fucking nowhere that you do actually want to see. Um, this obviously WWE has somewhat of a relationship with Noah because a couple years ago they gave Nakamura to wrestle uh, Keiji Muto, Great Muta. So I mean there is conversation and talks between the two companies. I don't think anything's come up between them since that time. Um, but what are your thoughts? Dream match, AJ Styles, Marufuji, Scooter.
It's definitely going to be one to watch. It's this this might be the one dream match that of the WWE that Dave Meltzer gives 10 stars to.
I don't know. There's a WWE guy in it. He's not that generous. He doesn't want to upset his girlfriend, Tony Khan.
Chin up, tits out, watch for the shoe.
Kalika?
Well, I mean, this is the biggest part of like you need to hold my beer, bitch, because the fact that Joe Hendry got more views on his debut than Okada, Sasha Banks, and Edge combined says everything you need to know.
Yeah, I would say so.
You know you don't know who those people are because you don't watch wrestling like that.
The only people I know is John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Hulk Hogan.
What do you learn Hulk Hogan?
Sorry that my son pops in, showing his wrestling knowledge. Fun fact, he can rap Kendrick Lamar, not like us. So, hey, there's something there.
Yeah. So, keeping up with WWE news, obviously big things happening. Indiana is getting the Rumble in 2025. Possibly WrestleMania and SummerSlam after that. They signed a multiple year contract with the city.
It would be the first Royal Rumble to take place in February.
Yeah.
It's currently scheduled for February 1st.
That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. Things on. It's kind of the same, but also not in the same. In the same breath. Obviously, WrestleMania is a little later this year as well. So I kind of understand where they want to maybe push Royal Rumble because Rumble has been in the last week in January, the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's usually always been the week before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
See, now the question is, where is SummerSlam 2025 going to happen?
I mean, they keep saying it. They keep teasing it.
I mean, I'm wondering if they're actually going to skip 2025.
Wow.
I mean, in favor of going to yet another country.
I mean, I feel like it's too big of an event for them to leave that money on the table.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, maybe they'll do SummerSlam in Hawaii. At the Aloha Bowl.
What say you, Kaliko? Your thoughts on Indiana getting Royal Rumble?
Honestly, it's interesting. I mean, it's an indoor arena. Indianapolis is cool as shit.
Lucas Oil Stadium.
Because they did have the national title there, so I wouldn't put it too far. In downtown Indianapolis got a little something to do. It's interesting, but I'm still trying to. Yeah, I'm like 2025. What the? It's like they're giving all. I mean, but I think this is the new format. They're putting these deals with stadiums that are more Midwest because they probably won't have the pull to bid and win in destination cities, right? Because if you leave it up to the people, where would they go for the Royal Rumble? Miami or Indianapolis, right? So it's a little bit to spread the love, and I already told you this. This is what they're doing. It's going to be these Midwest cities are going to get a shot at some of these pay-per-views that are not WrestleMania oriented, because when you think WrestleMania oriented, you think of WrestleMania week, and when you think WrestleMania week, you usually want to do it in a city where people can like actually be about the city for the week. I mean, Vegas alone a week in Vegas is bananas, but it's just, like Vegas, Miami, New York, Chicago when they get their shit together, Nashville when that shit pops up, Houston, Dallas, LA, those type of areas where people are just naturally congregating to that city.
They did say, like I said, it's a multiple-year deal that could possibly have WrestleMania and SummerSlam in Indiana. Like you said, I don't necessarily think we're going to get a WrestleMania in Indiana for the same reason.
Let's not forget WrestleMania 8.
The Hoosier Dome?
The Hoosier Dome, which was one of at the time, the biggest, one of the biggest WrestleManias.
And they learned their lesson since.
Yes. But the Hoosier Dome itself is been replaced by Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well, like I said, I don't necessarily feel like it's kind of like Minneapolis, wanting WrestleMania, getting SummerSlam.
Yes, because when you think of summer, you think of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nothing says summer fun like Indianapolis, Indiana.
Like, I'm still waiting for Dunkirk, Idaho to get a Survivor Series, or Helena, Montana.
Boise, Idaho.
So,
Walla Walla.
it seems like
Walla Walla.
it seems like everybody wants it, but only a select few states are actually going to get it.
Well, that's how it goes, man. If you're in a city that sucks, it sucks to be you.
See, because now they're holding out for manias that will that will literally be destination manias. In other countries, like
London, Tokyo, Australia, Sydney,
Rio.
WrestleMania Rio, bro. They go. Oh Jesus.
They have to have an intercontinental tournament named after Pat Patterson.
Mexico City. Hell, the Bahamas.
Okay, now you're just throwing names out there.
Honolulu.
Barcelona.
So yeah, it does seem like I said, everybody wants it. Only select few is gonna get it. Indiana's drawing their hat in the ring to get everything as well. So
Well, the deal's been signed.
yeah, but I mean, they feel they're gonna get they might get a WrestleMania, but you know, so did
I think they could. I think they'll get one.
I think they'll give them Survivor Series.
If Nashville gets one, they get one.
Nashville didn't get WrestleMania.
They're getting it in 2027.
Has that been confirmed?
Yeah.
What?
I didn't hear that.
Was it not?
WrestleMania 4.
Because they said when that stadium gets built, it's coming.
Yeah, WrestleMania, which would be 43.
2027.
It is potentially Nashville.
Oh no, it will be. Bleacher Report, per Bleacher Report.
Bleacher Report. Oh,
A
no.
verbal commitment to the Titans to host WrestleMania 2027 if the stadium is built. If it's built.
They're going to host WrestleMania 27 again. Awesome.
2027. WrestleMania 2027. So if that building is built before 2027, you can bet your ass they're getting it. And
yeah. We shall see how that goes.
so let's just see how slow Southern construction is. No disrespect, Tennessee. I love you.
Detroit was also rumored to be bidding for 43. They're now off the table.
You know, we're talking about 42 through 46. So
yeah,
I mean,
they're talking about SummerSlam in 2 years from now. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Speaking about out of the realm of possibilities, it's rumored that Shane McMahon might be going to AEW. Kalika, Shane McMahon sign is going to be All Elite. What are your thoughts?
Jesus Christ, help us. That means Vince ain't too far behind because he wants to one up his son.
He'll go to TNA, damn it. They'll have him.
Yeah, of course, that would appear to me that Vince is actively trying to kill the WWE. I mean, Shane has supposedly Shane has reached out to a couple of his friends in AEW. I can't imagine who else aside from former WWE guys that knows Shane.
Hypothetically speaking, would Shane McMahon make any impact in AEW at this point?
No, because if Sasha Banks and Okada didn't, what the hell is...
I mean, it will get a pop from maybe the internet fans, but to actually translate into views, I highly doubt it.
There goes the money.
There goes the money. Money.
I mean,
dollar. out of
I mean,
those.
you kind of have a whole Shane McMahon, Sasha Banks kind of thing built in with that.
You're not wrong. Well, that being said, AEW, this last week on Dynamite, did their record low ratings for Dynamite. It was just a little bit over 5 million, I want to say. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But yeah, it's their ratings are going lower and lower. And it normally I wouldn't say, I wouldn't necessarily care about the ratings, but they are in negotiations with TNT for, media rights renewal. And when you're doing literally the crappiest ratings you've ever done on that station, you wonder if they're going to renew them or not. Am I wondering right, or am I just speculating, Scooter?
I'd absolutely, I'd say you were right. They did, by the way, they did 502,000 viewers.
5,000.
They did a 0.16 share in the primary demographic, which is 7 points down from last week. So it, yeah.
If you want to hear, Dave Meltzer's take on it. I mean, I think it was Dave Meltzer. It could have been some other stooge. I'm not sure. They were blaming, and I kid you not, Black Panther. Black Panther came on before AEW. They were saying, oh, well, Big Bang Theory usually comes on before AEW, and that usually does strong ratings. For whatever reason, people wasn't watching Black Panther on Juneteenth. And then there was other things people were watching, like the Olympic trials. There were a couple NBA games. Also, it was just a really beautiful day as well, so people were just out. There was a new gas station opened up on the corner. They opened up the lake. There was locusts, which cut out the feed for the show.
Oh, God.
Somebody found a bat in their house, and they were not able to watch AEW. There was a zombie apocalypse in Washington State.
An apocalypse localized entirely within Washington State.
So yeah, literally the whole world is after AEW. But instead of that being the case, instead of maybe you're just not making good content that people actually want to see, because it's been in the 6,000 range the last couple of weeks as well. So I mean, this isn't like it's not an occurrence. It's a downward pattern. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Keep in mind, the first AEW did these numbers with the first match having no commercials.
Oh, gee. So you got to see Orange Cassidy without commercials?
No, it was MJF versus Rouge.
Oh, gee. Well, that put asses in seats.
Yep, put me right on the toilet bowl.
There you go. Well, if you don't like current AEW, maybe you like what they were doing back in the day, 2019. And you can see AEW pay previews on Driller TV. Their back catalog of pay previews will be on that platform. Scooter, I have no idea what Driller TV is.
I thought the Thriller. I always thought was a
It's Thriller. Thriller is the Michael Jackson album.
No. Thriller is also the network that used to host scary movies.
That one. That's right.
Yeah, before Shudder.
They're on Thriller? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Thriller was the one that would I finally got to watch the Freddy Krueger TV series again, because they would always air those episodes. Triller TV is it's a subsidy of Fight.
Okay.
So honestly, it's really nothing new. I mean, if people are already clamoring for AEW back in the day, that's kind of sad. Because, again, how long did the WWE wait to at least attempt to do something like it was the precursor to the WWE Network? First, you had the
24/7?
WWE. There was the WWE Match Archive, where it was only like $2.99 a month. It was all specific matches. Then there was 24/7, which of course, I always ordered, and I never told my parents who pay the cable bill. And even then, that was limited.
I mean, it was limited, but you got a lot of great shit on it.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I kind of prefer 24/7 over the network, because it gave you enough to watch in a week, so when you got to the next week, they would put more stuff on it.
No, 24/7 though. They added one new event each week, and then they changed the lineup the second week.
Right.
So if the WWE just had a channel with like they used to, but but I digress.
Getting off topic. Well, the one interesting thing I found about the AEW back catalog is that it's not like, oh, if you subscribe to Driller TV, you get all of the paid previews. Like similar like WWE is, if you subscribe to Peacock, you get WWE. No, you actually have to pay to see their paid previews over again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like the $50 that they stole from you the first time wasn't enough.
Well, shit.
Yeah, that's like ESPN and UFC.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Don't get me started with that. That's a crime and a half.
Would I be wrong in thinking that AEW should have been on, I don't know, Max? Considering that Max is Warner Brothers?
I was, that was the natural place. Plus, Tony Khan could do all these themed episodes of Dynamite would probably do a whole lot better if they were on a channel like, I don't know, like HBO. I mean, HBO does boxing all the time.
Not anymore.
And now Showtime does boxing and MMA and Bellator and whatnot.
Not anymore. They cut theirs off too.
Really? They cut Bellator? Really? Damn.
They cut their sports division off, and that's where it hurts. So did HBO. Like for most people,
have the Brian Gumbel Real Sports, and they
still have that because the NFL is kind of pushing that. I mean, they're going to keep Real Sports with. They're going to keep Real Sports and Hard Knocks and Inside the NFL. It's just the extending sports part of it, of highlighting boxers, because they used to be like Showtime Boxing, Next Generation. HBO used to have mad fights. Boxing is kind of in this weird place where it's like once the fighters found other ways of getting onto platforms such as Trilla and Fight TV and what's the other one that Canelo's exclusively on?
DAZN.
DAZN. Yeah, so those places are getting it, and those are like $9.99 subscriptions, and all you have to do, and if you already subscribed, most of the fights you're going to be able to watch, with the exception of like a pay-per-view, like a big-time pay-per-view. But when it comes to Warner Brothers, this is the silver lining, I think, for TNA. I mean, not TNA, but for AEW with this Warner Brothers deal, is the fact that Warner Brothers is losing the best show that they're going to have, that they have, point blank, period. They're losing the best show that they have, point blank, period, due to the fact that they didn't bid on the NBA or having NBA games. So therefore, they're losing the biggest show that they have, the most popular show that they have, which is Inside the NBA. I tell everybody, to the death of me, the most popular television show is Inside the NBA. And now that is going to be broken, not even a thing, because Ernie Johnson is choosing to stay with Warner Brothers and TNT, so therefore there goes that part. Charles Barkley is retiring. God knows what they're going to do with the rest. So now it's kind of like they're doing bad, but they have leverage due to the fact that TNT already knows after next season, Inside the NBA is done. So if I were AEW, I'd hold out till Inside the NBA is actually done and kind of use that a little leverage to negotiate. Because considering that show is gone, they're going to be the most popular show by default.
I mean, but that's not saying a lot, right? I mean,
it's not saying a lot, but being number one is number one, sir, and they have to keep. And the point of Warner Brothers and TNT, they're going to have to do something to keep it popular, because the only time TNT is actually popping is during March Madness, and no one really they care the first couple of days, but that also ties into like Inside the NBA, because they had Inside the NBA crew doing that. So it all dovetails, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, they're going to be number one by attrition.
But when your number one show is only pulling in 500,000 views, you're going to want to look for something that's going to give you more than that. Obviously, the NBA and Inside NBA, I want to assume that they're pulling in more than 500,000 views. I'm imagine it's a couple million.
Oh yeah, because keep in mind, remember, they tried to
Kaliko, you sound pretty far away.
Oh gosh.
There's a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
A lot of feedback. Un momento.
And we're waiting for Kaliko.
That's a good time. Check out AEW Fight Forever, currently for free on PlayStation Plus, because let's face it, nobody else would actually buy it. I played my first Stadium Stampede match and I won.
Because there was nobody in it?
Yep. It was all bots.
There you go. Y'all got me now?
Uh-huh.
All right. So, where was I?
Inside the NBA pulls in a lot more views than AEW.
Yeah, they pulled in a lot more views, but keep in mind, they tried that. Yeah, it's clear because AEW, remember, they tried to follow Inside the NBA. Like, they had a game on, they had Inside the NBA on, and then they tried to dovetail Inside the NBA into AEW. And that was a massive fail. I'm not even going to knock you on that one. My thing is this. They're going to be the most popular show that gets weekly live eyeballs. And that is going to have to mean for something, because keep in mind, this is the same television network that gave Tyler Perry about 10 seasons of Meet the Browns or Meet the Perrys or whatever the fuck it was. And if they can give them 10 seasons of that shit, I'm pretty sure they can give AEW a little bit of something.
But TNT does have the NHL.
The NHL is trying to bounce back, but my thing is it's not as global as basketball.
You know, they could have been on True TV.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Crime TV or something like that.
Very true. Pop is looking for new wrestling. Alright, keeping up on bad AEW news, if you listen to Kevin Kelly's recent interview, he stated that he will be looking to pursue legal action against AEW for, I believe, wrongful termination. Not great for AEW to have a lawsuit. I don't necessarily think that. I think it's more for the publicity rather than, you know, the lawsuit part on Kevin Kelly's part. But your thoughts on Kevin Kelly suing AEW, Scooter?
I mean, usually, you know, these business people usually kind of do know what they're talking about in terms of, you know, when they make talent sign contracts. And I mean, Kevin Kelly's deal was not through AEW. It was a transitional from Ring of Honor.
Interesting.
So, is it a possibility Kevin Kelly really didn't understand the time frame of his that was, you know, left on his contract? I doubt it. I doubt he's an idiot like that. But I mean, unless they're denying him unemployment, I can't imagine why he would sue. Since, you know, the reason why you sue is because you can't get unemployment.
I don't know what I only heard that he's looking to pursue it. He hasn't any. I don't think anything's been set up as of now. But what say you, Kalika?
All it is bibble babble at this point. Let them figure it out. They got bigger shit to deal with.
He's trying to. Kevin Kelly made it a point to say he was going to do this to get Tony's attention to essentially hope Tony tries to settle before anything even begins.
I like how Cassie did P. Diddy.
Maybe not as severe, but I guess so.
And with more clothes.
Alright, I think that's a great segue into our last bit of news this week. And that is Hulk Hogan wants to run for president because he knows right from wrong.
Get the fuck don't you know.
Are you saying
No,
Hulk
no.
Hogan doesn't know right from wrong? Take your vitamins and say
Hulk
your
Hogan-
prayers, brother.
Okay.
Doesn't feel strong about right and wrong.
Hulk Hogan got bigger issues. If he really wanted to run, he should have popped out on Juneteenth at the Kendrick Lamar concert to test his polling with the African American nation.
Well, you know something, man. Oh, no, wait.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Well, I mean, his running mate has
Oh, God. No, we're not doing Vice President Brutai.
No, I was gonna say Vice
Me
President Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah, if Linda could barely get elected,
Well, she didn't even get elected. She got appointed, so that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, she
shit,
doesn't
dude.
have the influence of Vince McMahon as Vice President to Hulk Hogan.
I feel like Vince would be the motherfucker running for president.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then that's the transition. He has Hulk Hogan murdered. He takes the presidency, and then he becomes the president without doing half the work Hulk Hogan did. I'm writing a telenovela at this point with how this is going.
Lord Jesus.
With that mustache, I mean, come on, man.
All right, I think we're done with the news. So, quick word from our sponsors.
They believe in Joe Hendry.
And we are
You believed in me.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.